This tiny piece of plastic tells an entire government who I am, where I belong, my rights, whether I can cross an invisible line on a map, and whether or not I deserve protection. It's crazy how an entire identity can fit something in my wallet. Imagine this. Indonesia disappears tomorrow, say beneath the ocean. The land's completely gone. The government can no longer function. The borders surrounding this country no longer exist. Because, well, there's nothing left to surround. So tell me, does this card still make me Indonesian? Or does my identity drown with my country? Good morning, honorable adjudicators. My name is Asia. Quite fitting, isn't it? I was named after the largest continent on Earth, divided by thousands of borders and centuries of conflict. Yet, nature has never cared about a single one of our lines. Well, can we tell the rain only to fall in Jakarta because Tangerang is a different city? Can we tell a Japanese earthquake to stop right there and not go to Korea because it's another country? Can we tell the ocean to check our passports before reaching the shore? Of course not. Natures don't care. Nature doesn't recognize our maps. Only we do. So, the question is, when the tides of transformation erase a nation, must the concept of natural integrity redefine our global borders? Simply, my answer is yes. Because the borders were never natural to begin with. They were negotiated by countries, won through wars, stolen to colonization. European empires met at the Berlin Conference of 1884 and split up Africa with rulers and ink, separating communities that had lived together for centuries without asking a single African. Too far? Indonesia's borders largely reflect on the lines drawn by Dutch colonial administrators. Not because it was natural, not because of the mountains or the rivers, but because men believed they had the authority to divide Earth. So then, generation after generation, we inherited those lines till we stopped questioning them. We began treating our borders as if they were laws of nature. Climate change is finally exposing that illusion. The sea isn't invading our borders. It doesn't even know they exist. It simply rises. And if one rising tide can erase a territory we once believed was permanent and forever, then perhaps our definition of belonging should never have depended solely on the territory in the first place. Because the real tragedy isn't losing the land, it's losing the rights. According to the Global Carbon Project, North America and Europe account for nearly half of all the historic carbon dioxide emissions since the Industrial Revolution. While many small islands, nations facing the greatest threat contribute less than 1%. The people who fueled the crisis are safe, and the people who contributed the least are losing their homes, their languages, histories, and their futures. Yet, when they seek protection, the world would say, sorry, without a recognized state, we can't process your claim. People say we must protect our borders. But I asked, protect them from who? Children who never chose where they were born? Families whose countries are disappearing beneath the sea because of a crisis they barely contributed to? Borders were created to protect people. But today, people need protection from borders. So yes, our understanding of global borders must evolve. Not because nature has changed, no. Nature has always changed. Coastlines will move, rivers will shift and wail. Islands will appear and disappear. The only thing refusing to evolve is us. A nation has never just been its land, it has been its people, language, cultures, memories, its future. And if the land disappears, those people do not suddenly become less human. So why should their rights disappear too? At the beginning of my speech, I asked whether this little piece of plastic would still make me someone if Indonesia disappeared beneath the sea tomorrow. Now we know the answer. This card doesn't determine my worth. It only records where I happen to be born. If one rising tide can erase the lines we drew on a map, then perhaps those lines were never the strongest thing about us, and our humanity should be. Thank you.